We are here today because we have been told, meeting after meeting by the DEP, that mud or flood are the only choices available for the management of the Ashokan Reservoir. The New York City DEP has maintained that there are simply no other options available but to release highly turbid water into the lower Esopus or to keep the Ashokan Reservoir at unsafe levels. If releases into the lower Esopus had received permits through a normal environmental review process, other alternatives would have been formally vetted, and we would not be here today questioning the very information we have previously received. We have been meeting with the New York City DEP officials for over a year and a half regarding the management of the Ashokan Reservoir and the polluted releases into the lower Esopus. Simply put, now it has become clear the New York City DEP may have had other alternatives with the potential to release directly into the Hudson River, avoiding damage to 32 miles of pristine trout stream running through 7 Ulster County communities. As of Friday, I confirmed with the New York City DEP Deputy Commissioner Paul Rush the existence of what is referred to as the Hudson River Release Chamber. I asked him a very pointed question. Does the New York City DEP have engineered into their system the ability to bypass the lower Esopus and discharge directly into the Hudson River? He confirmed that it does. The Hudson River Release Chamber, if made operational, would allow for the removal of turbid water from the Ashokan Reservoir through a direct release from the Catskill Aqueduct into the Hudson River below the drinking water intake for multiple communities along the Hudson River, avoiding polluting the lower Esopus. This disclosure leaves us with many more questions than answers. But to those who have been negatively affected along the lower Esopus, it is stunning news to learn that there may well have been alternatives not fully vetted. In addition, what else haven't they told us? And when was the decision made to pollute the lower Esopus rather than to use the Hudson River Release Chamber? By what criteria was this decision made? And are there other alternatives that we don't know about? And was this simply an attempt to avoid the public scrutiny of an open permitting process? It is outrageous to know that the New York City DEP refused to thoroughly evaluate this alternative in a public setting. And if this option is viable, the hardship the New York City DEP has placed upon the people of Ulster County may well have been avoidable. The health and welfare of our residents did not need to be put in question. Our environment may not have needed to be impacted. And so I am calling upon the New York City DEP to immediately release all documents regarding the Hudson River Drainage Chamber and have all potential alternatives vetted publicly. Anything other than polluting the lower Esopus. Their culture of withholding information and parsing it out for their own purposes flies in the face of their responsibility not only to the people of Ulster County, but to the residents of New York City as well. If there are other options available, we deserve and demand the right to know for the sake and welfare of the sake of the health and welfare of the people of our community. I think it's important to understand this report that was released in 2008 never mentions dumping hundreds of millions of gallons of highly turbid water down the lower Esopus. But in addition to that, this report that lists alternatives never discusses the Hudson River Drainage Chamber. We're talking about negatively impacting an enormous amount of people along the lower Esopus, doing damage to our environment, 32 miles long, when there may well have been a solution 32 feet away. Again, we have more questions than we have answers, but it's important for the New York City DEP to come clean, not just for the people of Ulster County, but for the citizens of New York City that they are supposed to represent.